So I've heard many of my friends who've taken the permit exam before and they failed multiple times. Luckily for me, I passed first try, but I did make many mistakes on the way that almost cost me that first try. If you don't want to disappoint your parents, let me explain to you everything I know in order to pass that exam first try like I did. I made the mistake of setting up an appointment months after I was done studying for my permit course, and it forced me to take another couple of weeks of studying before I actually took my exam.
While studying for your permit exam, try your best to set up an appointment to take your permit as soon as possible. You don't want to be waiting several hours just to take an exam because you decided to walk in instead of making an appointment.
Don't make that same mistake that I made, so that all the information that you just were studying and everything you were doing to prepare for the exam, it stays fresh in your mind so you don't forget later on like I did. It'll put that sense of urgency in your mind that you have a due date to be prepared for. But what should you put your focus on when studying? When I took my DMV exam, a majority of the test was just basic common knowledge.
These were questions that you could pass when just looking at how your parents drive. So pay attention to how your parents drive when studying for this exam, and you should get those questions right as it's a real life example of what's on the test. Now for the other details, there are many other things that you won't know just by looking at a first glance. These are questions most people don't remember and fail in their tests. And I passed the exam by studying from this list.
Look for the right-of-way rules, dashboard signals, dates, fines, alcohol consumption, crash information, and other stupid DMV reporting policies. Those were the things I wrote down to study for and the things that appeared on my test. So do your best to focus your time on all these things.
By the way, if you wanted to use the website that I previously used for studying, everything will be in the link in the description down below, and yeah, that's where you're going to find all the information for this video. I've also left the DMV handbook in the description, so check it out if you don't want to buy a course. The best way to retain the information is to apply it right away after you just finish studying it. This is where the practice exams come in. DMV Test Info is probably the best site you can go to for studying an exam, so use it. It's also in the link down below.
It has 24 different tests you could use to apply the information you learned and help keep it in your brain to study. I've personally used this site and took all 24 tests before taking the actual exam. In my experience, a good amount of questions that are on the practice exams are the same questions on the DMV Permit Exam, just with different wording. It helps relieve the pressure as you can only get 8 wrong on your exam before it states you automatically failed.
Just take a look at a couple of these exams if you don't want to study, and it'll give you an idea of what to expect on the DMV exam. Before you take the exam, ask advice from as many people as you can who've taken this exam previously before. Now obviously don't do it with your parents because most likely their stuff is written outdated and everything. Ask it to young adults, teenagers that have taken it before so that you can get more up-to-date information on the DMV exam. This is what I did, and this is how I got all the information from the links I provided down below to help me pass the exam first try. Now I wasn't personally old enough just to learn off of the handbook because I wasn't 17 and a half back then. I had to take an online course which honestly gets the summarized points down, gets everything you need down. Go use that. So I just went to this driver's ed and they had all the important information down and visuals to help you understand the concepts and constant quizzes and tests to prepare you for the permanent exam. All this wouldn't be possible without me asking people for tips to help me pass for this exam. I probably wouldn't even have passed first try if I didn't ask every single one of my friends who've taken this exam before on how they did it, what they used, and some studying tips to take away to help me retain that information. I even had a study buddy so we could test each other and remark on our progress that we made while studying for this permanent exam. But let me give you some final tips. Knowing that you can only get 8 wrong for this entire exam, it was kind of pressuring. And since this was a digital exam, you had to take it on a computer, and it would immediately mark it wrong if you confirmed your answer and it wasn't the right one. So you'd see immediately every single question you got wrong, and you only had 8 in total out of 45 or 46 question tests. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it though. Don't worry about it though. You have a minute and a half per question to solve, to reread the prompt, the question, to reread the answers. Because don't do what I did when I just thought I knew the right answer, and eventually it was not instead of is. So I selected the wrong answer, and that meant I got the entire thing wrong. So don't do that. Don't do that. Take your time. Please take your time. Take your minute and a half per each question. You do only have a limited amount of skip to take for this exam. So if you're gonna take this exam, put the super hard questions that you don't have the immediate answer to, and pause it or skip it, and you can move on with your life with that question. And hopefully you don't get more than 4 or 5 wrong, so that you get a chance to maybe get those wrong or maybe get those right if anything goes wrong. This test is really just to show you if you are prepared to drive on the road. Good luck. I don't want to show you my license or permit, so I guess I'm just going to show you proof that I'm actually driving. Alright, bitches, I'm driving. Is that enough proof for you? Is that enough proof to you that I actually passed this exam? This is the proof. This is the proof that I drive. This is the proof that I passed my permit exam and also passed the on-wheel driving exam.